Good evening and welcome to SEIU Says 312-738-1060. And tonight we have a special guest, Secretary-Treasurer, SEIU Local 73, Mr. Matt Brandon.
Good evening.
And the host tonight is the sister, and on the phones is Red. Now, you know how Red doesn't like to be disappointed, so you all need to be making those phone calls in here, because then if you don't, she's going to feel like she's all alone and left out of the picture. So, Mr. Brandon, I understand you're here on behalf of Mr. Leroy Jones.
That's right. Tonight's show was supposed to have the next alderman of the 21st Ward, Leroy Jones Jr., but unfortunately, Leroy had to remain in the community doing what he intends to do once elected, servicing the needs of the community. He's meeting with block clubs, and he had a CAPS meeting to discuss some of the crime related issues there. And so Leroy's doing what he's going to do. He's going through the 21st Ward and addressing the needs of the community. So in his place, you have me, and they've got some awfully bright lights in here now. So I was going to wear, and I'll let the audience tell me if I should take them off. I was going to wear these.
No,
actually, these are a lot better. So we're here to talk about Leroy Jones Jr.'s candidacy, and when this all started out, everybody said that it couldn't be done. You know, that an incumbent like Brookins couldn't be beaten, and the SEIU State Council, as you know, decided to enter the foray of politics here to bring the voice of the working people to the City Council of the City of Chicago. And Leroy was one of those many races that we engaged in. And so far, so good. We're in a runoff, and we think that right after the 17th of April, the next show we'll have for you the next alderman of the 21st Ward, Leroy Jones Jr.
Okay, so now, before I continue any further, Leroy Jones Jr. for alderman of the 21st Ward. His office address is 7955 South Ashland Avenue. Phone number 773-483-9805. And he's got a real nifty website if you'd like to go see it, www.citizensforleroy.com.
You know, I'd like to talk briefly about the effort that the residents of the 21st Ward, along with the members of SEIU, Local 73 and other SEIU locals, and other Change to Win locals, put out to get us where we are today in the 21st Ward election. It was a great job by all. I'd like to thank you on behalf of Leroy Jones Jr. And we're just about there, but we will need your continued support. Beginning this Saturday, we're going to be going back into the wards, knocking on doors, and taking Leroy's message back out. The canvassing Saturday starts at 10 and goes till 2. We'll be contacting you. Cynthia Rodriguez, the campaign office, will be contacting you to get that done. I also want to acknowledge, while I'm doing this, the great work done by the campaign staff that put this all together. And that group of people, Julia, Justin, Wendy, they were all great behind the scenes, doing all the technical things, getting everything together, taking a ragtag bunch and whipping them into shape. So kudos to you all, and we look forward to continue this. Tom Balanoff, Jerry Morrison, the whole crew has really been great in making this thing go, and I'm just excited that we're here and we're moving forward, and we all pull together. We're going to get Leroy elected.
And while you're mentioning about coming out and canvassing on Saturdays from 10 to 2, we also have phone banking at 940 West Adams on the 4th floor, and that's from 5 till 8 on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay.
So and we feed you too, good Italian food, pasta, salad. So if you feel like you can't come out and canvass, but you want to let Leroy know that you support him 100%, then I ask you to come and phone bank with us. Phone banking starts next Tuesday, March the 20th, all the way up until the 17th.
Let me say a couple of other things here about the effort of labor and the people in changing the makeup of the city council. As you know, there are numerous runoffs throughout the city.
Of course.
And labor is involved or will be involved in most, if not all of them. Those decisions are still being made.
Right.
But I also want to give a big shout out to the Change to Win organizations, to AFSCME. I also want to shout out to Dennis Gannon. Dennis, you've done one heck of a job. We really appreciate the job that you're doing, and Leroy thanks you. Dennis was one of the first people to call Leroy the night of the election and congratulate him on getting it to a runoff. And Dennis, thank you very much. We really appreciate your help, and the support of the CFL is just enormous in this campaign. I'd like now to talk about some of the issues in the city of Chicago because, as you know, I'm sitting in for Leroy Jones, Jr. Well, matter of fact, I'll be taking over because Leroy ain't coming back. He's going to be an alderman, so he
get used to his face because Leroy ain't coming back.
Yeah,
You'll see Leroy here from time to time, but outside of that, get used to Matt.
That's true. And as you know, one of the bigger units that I deal with is the public safety unit. It is called Unit 2, and it encompasses many of the organizations involved in public safety. One of those departments is the Department of Operation and Emergency Management, Office of Emergency Management and Communications, OEMC. And recently we had a tragedy there. One of our members,
yes, we did.
One of our part-time traffic control aides, was struck while he was in the line of his duties and subsequently succumbed to his injuries. So we ask you all to say a little prayer for his family and keep him in your thoughts and keep his family in your thoughts.
Most definitely.
Our people have very dangerous jobs, and the disrespect that the public gives them is just unbelievable. These people stand out in the middle of the street and try to make it easy for you to turn left or turn right or proceed through an intersection. And some of you have seen them out there. You remember when they were out there when it was so cold that you didn't want to go to work? Well,
yes.
They went to work, and that was their job.
Right.
And along with our full-time traffic control aides downtown and our crossing guards, you need to pay attention to the direction that the people give you in the streets. Alderman Balser of the 11th Ward has an ordinance that's introduced in the City Council that will make it possible to find people who don't obey the direction of crossing guards, traffic control aides, and other people involved in the direction of traffic. And we are supporting the alderman's move to get that ordinance passed.
Most definitely.
And we will be asking you all to support that, too. Too many times these people are just ignored and forgotten. This was one of the first times that we actually saw a major newspaper pick up the story.
Right.
We've had crossing guards, we've had traffic control aides hit, injured, and you get nothing. You get no news on it.
Right.
So maybe we're getting people to pay attention. We're going to continue to address the press to look at our people and champion their cause, because we need the support of the public to make things work and to make it safer out there for our members to perform their jobs.
And one thing about it is you would want the same respect and the same protection if you were out there doing that job. So why should we give them anything less than full support?
No, and I agree, Sandie. I mean, they're there for our betterment as far as our communication process to and from work, to and from the store, to and from home. We need to assist them in making this thing work. If they ask you to stop, stop. When you get to an intersection, slow down. A yellow light does not mean stomp on the gas and do 60 miles an hour and run over the traffic control aid.
Right.
Come on, people, use some common sense here. And we can avoid the type of tragedy that occurred and took the life of one of our brothers and sisters.
Right, because the last thing we need is everybody getting injured or, I find it amazing that people will leave home late just so they could speed down either the Dan Ryan or the Eisenhower or Gold Lakeshore Drive just so they can get to work on time, when if they got up earlier and, kind of monitor their times, they would get down there with the least amount of gas spent. But they don't seem to understand that.
No, that's true. And one of the big problems here is that people are really, it's a little culture shock sometimes. The Dan Ryan is in total disrepair now, and the near south loop has exploded as far as population is concerned,
Right.
and traveling patterns and times are changing,
Right.
and people become impatient. But our people are there to help assist you on your daily travel to and from work, to and from the
School.
store, the school, wherever. So please pay attention, and for God's sakes, watch out for these people, please.
Right, because you know the thing of it is those individuals that are standing in the street have family members,
Mhm.
either living with them or loved ones that care about them, and a lot of them have to go home to loved ones, children that they're raising by themselves, and so I think it would be less than, I think it would be very inhuman for somebody to go out there and hit an individual and cause a great grievance on the family that individual is going to be leaving behind. So as Matt said, you can slow down. You don't have to be in a hurry. You will get there eventually. So, take heed.
And let me say thank you to OEMC Director Rich Gaitis and Chandra Gibbons, who I deal with over there. They immediately notified me of what happened. Mr. Gaitis told me that OEMC was there. They were with the family. They were trying to do what they could. And thank you for that immediate response to the concern of the member.